His Story, the fastest growing account on YouTube right now. All I know is that people are telling me to check this out, and so I'll check it out. Some of the strangest stories on YouTube, supposedly, and because I'm the animation guy, I'm supposed to look at this.
Yes!
Do it! I'll do it, okay? We'll see what this is all about. I told my story, it made his story.
My dad hated that I was taller. Oh no.
All right, let's check this one out first. Let's check it out.
Dad measured me for the 5th time that day and screamed, "Why are you still 5'10"? I stared down at my 5'3" dad, and he glared. "Stop looking down at me. No son of mine will ever look down on me.
I can't
We're going
look
to fix
up
this
at you,
before
you're
it's too
down."
late." And so the next day, Dad came into my room with x-rays of my legs marked with red X's saying,
We're
"I found
taking
a
this
surgeon
out.
who will remove these bones so that you can finally be shorter than me. I already scheduled the surgery." I stared in horror while Dad jumped around saying he couldn't wait to be taller than me. I knew I had to make the surgery impossible, so I started running 26 miles non-stop, and even though it hurt—
Oh no, okay, I'm starting to see why people like this. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. Oh no, I'm starting to see why people like this.
Running 26 miles non-stop, and even though it hurt, I kept going until my legs gave out because I needed my bones to be so damaged they couldn't operate on me.
That is not how that works. That's not how that works.
And then on the day of my scheduled surgery, the doctor took one look at x-rays of
No doctor would do this procedure. Hey, we need to shorten your legs.
There is a doctor that does that.
If you have a leg that's too long and you need to balance it out, sure, absolutely. But no doctor is gonna let someone's dad say, hey, can you shave 6 inches of this guy's legs for no reason? That's not a doctor, that's a psychopath. They wouldn't do that.
The doctor took one look at x-rays of my damaged legs and refused to operate on me. Dad got angry. Why? He's perfectly fine. But the surgeon shook his head and pointed at the x-ray. His bones are too damaged. If I cut into them, they could shatter, and a shard of bone could hit his heart. Your son could die. Dad
his
crossed
heart?
his arms.
If he cuts into his leg bone, a shard could come out and hit his heart. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. He just needs to not say anything too stupid for 5 seconds.
Your son could die. Dad crossed his arms. I'm okay taking that risk. Just do it so he can be shorter than me. But the doctor kept saying no, and I thought it was finally over. But when we got home, Dad grabbed his toolbox and said, if a surgeon isn't going to fix this, then I'll do it myself. He chased me around the house screaming, "Get back here! You will be shorter than me!" I ran outside across the yard, and that's when Dad's foot got caught on the garden hose, and he fell down hard, and I saw both his legs were bent the wrong way. Dad screamed, and I called the ambulance.
Divine
and when they arrived,
karma.
Paramedics loaded him onto a stretcher, while one of them questioned me. "How do you know this man?" he asked. When I said he was my dad, his eyes bulged, and he looked back
This is
and
the
forth between my
psychopath of
dad and
6th
me,
Street.
and then suddenly asked, "How is he your dad? He's so short." Dad thrashed so hard in the stretcher that I heard a paramedic had to sedate him.
I hate it! I hate it! No! This is... Oh my gosh.
It kept me engaged the whole time.
No! No, guys. Listen, my laughter was genuine. I can't say if that laughter was a good thing or a bad thing, but it happened, okay? How is this your dad? He's so short. He's lying down! How do you even know? I labeled it fish.
My teacher looked at my drawing, covered her mouth, and ran out of the room screaming. Our assignment was to draw something that makes us happy, so I drew me and my dad fishing at the lake, something we do every Saturday. I picked up my paper to see what she saw. 2 stick figures,
You
a
drew
fishing
it.
rod, a lake, a building that said Larry's Bait and Tackle, and a fish that I even labeled fish in case there was any confusion. I had no idea what I did wrong. She came back with 2 security guards, still screaming, grabbed my drawing off my desk, and pointed at me like I was dangerous. They walked me out without saying a word and sat me down in Principal Carter's office. He had my drawing under a desk lamp like he was examining a ransom note. He looked
Wow.
up. "Explain this." I told him it's me and my dad fishing at the lake. He pointed at my stick figure's hand. "You're telling me this is a fishing rod when I'm looking at a weapon." I told him there's a line coming off it with a fish on the end, and I literally wrote the word
It literally
fish
says
next to it.
fish!
Keller leaned in. "It looks like he's aiming at the building." I told her it's Larry's Bait and Tackle where we buy worms, and he's facing the water because that's where fish live, and that's how fishing works.
Well, you see, Principal, it's facing the water because and I can see the confusion. I could see why you wouldn't understand this. The water, that's where fish live. So I was putting my rod towards the water because when you fish, you typically do it towards the water because that is actually where the fish live. So I just thought I'd let you know.
And he's facing the water because that's where fish live, and that's how fishing works. I didn't understand how every adult in the room was looking at a fish and seeing a threat. Principal Carter picked up his phone and called my dad. Mr. Davis, your son drew an image that appears to depict a We need you here immediately.
No.
I sat there staring at my drawing, wondering how I ended up here. My dad showed up still in his work shirt with dirt on his hands and stopped in the doorway.
Why are you
Where
shorter
is he?
than
What did
me
he
or
draw?
taller than me?
Principal Carter slid the drawing across the desk, and my dad picked it up, stared at it, and laughed. Not a chuckle, a full laugh. This is from last Saturday. He pulled out his phone, turned it around, and the photo was right there. Me standing in front of Larry's bait and tackle, holding my fishing.
Why did his story put this mysterious, spooky music? You made it seem a lot spooky. Like, yeah, you idiots. It's a misunderstanding. His story, don't put that spooky music there to back up the principal and the teacher.
Me standing in front of Larry's bait and tackle, holding my fishing rod. Same building, same rod, same everything.
Same
he looked at the
memories.
principal. Is everyone in this room slow? My son drew a fish, labeled it fish, drew a fishing rod, drew a bait shop, and you looked at that and saw us. Nobody said anything.
You're
You pulled my son out of
psychopaths.
class and called me at work because not one adult in this building stopped and said, hey, maybe that's a fishing rod. Mrs. Keller stared at the floor, and Principal Carter
Yo,
had
get
nothing. My dad put the
roasted.
drawing in his pocket. We're done here. Let's go. Next art class, I drew Mrs. Keller and labeled it donkey in case there was any confusion.
That's a mic drop moment.
And labeled it donkey in case there was any confusion.
In case there was any confusion. Donkey. There's actually another word you could have used and it would have hit a little bit harder, but it is what it is. My costume was too real. Just like these stories, guys.
I became my school's hero for 1 minute before everyone watched what happened next. I don't play around when it comes to Halloween, so during our school's Halloween dance, I dressed up in real firefighter gear from my dad's closet.
Whoa.
Real jacket, real boots, real helmet. I strutted around the gym like I owned the place.
Terrifying
until the fog
creature.
machine popped like a toaster and the fire alarm went off. Everyone cheered thinking it was part of the show until I smelled burnt plastic. Teachers started waving their arms telling everyone to stay calm, but I noticed the orange extension cord powering the machine didn't stop at the wall. It ran out the side doors
To
and
the
down
gas
the hallway toward
chamber.
the science wing. Then someone near the door yelled, "Smoke in the hallway," and teachers started shouting for everyone to evacuate. Real sirens started wailing outside and fire trucks pulled up. The crowd poured into the park.
Oh, and they're gonna be like, hey, get in there. Get in there. You're clearly one of us. Get in there and save some lives. Yes, okay.
The crowd poured into the parking lot while firefighters rushed through the main doors. That's when one of them spotted me standing near the entrance in full gear. "You, with us," he shouted. "We're clearing the east wing." I opened my mouth to say I'm just a student, but he shoved a flashlight into my hand and pushed me forward. The hallway was dark
Yeah, you're
and
going
filled
in.
with
It's
smoke.
all
We
you.
followed the orange cord past the lockers until it disappeared under Mrs. Carter's classroom door. One of the firefighters reached for the handle and jerked back. "Hot," he said, then looked at me. "Hit it!" But I only had my foam axe. I swung as hard as I could and it bounced off with a
foam
pathetic
axe!
squeak. The firefighter grabbed it, swung himself, and the foam bent in half. He stared at it, muttered, "These budget cuts."
Yeah,
and
why
tossed
did we
it
bring
aside.
this? Why did we bring this to a real fire? Yeah, those cursed budget cuts where they're giving us foam axes at the to fight real fires.
That's when someone shouted from down the hall and he waved to the others. "Forget this door. We'll circle back once we've got tools." They started heading back down the hall, but then I heard it. A squeaky wheel spinning frantically. This was Mrs. Carter's room, and the class pet Mr. Nibbles was
Mrs.
still
Carter?
inside.
Mr. Nibbles. Also,
Such a good name, Mr. Nipple.
it's a bad name and also a horrible cage to keep a rat in. This is a horrible cage to keep a rat in. How dare you? How dare you put this animal in such an unstimulating, tiny, awful cage? How dare you?
I would never do that to my sweet boy. See, guys, here's a real home for a rat. This is a real home for a rat. Hello, baby boys. How's it going? They're sleeping. It's the daytime, so they're having a little snooze, these muffin bears. Labby, did you give yourself a bath? I gave you a bowl of water because you were a little dirty, and because you're fully white, we could see that, and we knew you're dirty. You can't hide your dirtiness like Bingo can. So I gave you this bowl of water to wash yourself, and I don't know if you've done that yet. Oh, you're getting started now? Okay, now he's giving himself a bath. See, he heard me. All right, good. You keep doing that, buddy.
And the class pet, Mr. Nibbles, was still inside. I turned back to the door. The handle was glowing red. I wrapped my jacket sleeve around my arm and threw my shoulder into the bottom panel until it cracked open. Smoke poured out and choked me instantly. The hamster cage was on the counter, and tiny flames were eating the papers around it. I grabbed the melted cord with
save
my
Mr.
sleeve
Nibbles and get him to a better
spark
home.
bit through the fabric straight into my skin, and I screamed, but kept pulling until the plug came loose. I grabbed the cage with my smoking sleeve, and the metal seared into my palm. I could smell my skin burning. My lungs...
Oh my gosh. So another thing is this costume doesn't actually provide actual flame retard. Yeah,
I don't think it's pronounced like that.
it is. I 100%, yeah, it 100% flame retard. But we are going to censor it because I don't trust these algorithms.
And the metal seared into my palm. I could smell my skin burning. My lungs felt like they were filled with glass, and my vision was going black around the edges. But I ran.
That's deep.
When I burst through the side door, I collapsed face first onto the concrete and threw Mr. Nibbles onto the grass so I wouldn't crush him. I could hear cheering as hands grabbed me, and someone pulled off my helmet. A firefighter
And then
was
Mr.
staring
Nibbles
down
got
at me. Kid,
picked
you're a
up by
hero.
a
That's
hawk.
when I heard the scream. I turned my head and watched a hawk swoop down, grab Mr. Nibbles in its talons, and fly away.
Guys, just so you know, I've seen a story in my time. Listen, sometimes your boy, he's just on a level above, okay? That's all I'm saying. All right, yeah, never put your pet rat on the grass outside. Hawks will spawn at the nearest spawn location and pick them up in 10 seconds, so don't do that. Goat!
Every time we heard a knock on the front door, my dad would yell, "Stealth mode," and we had 30 seconds to kill every light in the house. My brother and I would race through the rooms.
Hey, stealth mode! Guys, be as quiet as you can! Well, unfortunately, you failed. The first rule of stealth mode is you don't alert everyone that you're going into stealth mode.
Flipping switches, yanking cords, shutting off the TV mid-show, while some guy outside
The
banged on
TV
front
mid-show.
door
Well, if you're
yelling,
watching
"I
a
know you're in
mid-show,
there,
you
buddy."
should turn it off.
Timed us. Once everything was dark, no talking, no moving, no looking out the windows. We'd sit there until Dad did his owl hoot, which meant all clear. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes
pull out the
almost an
Dracos.
hour. Afterwards, he'd high-five us and go, "Real ninjas couldn't do better." He told us stealth mode was top secret. Never tell your teachers, your
Don't
friends,
scream it
nobody.
out
Other
either.
people wouldn't understand. For years, I believed him. When I was 8, I asked Dad why we had to hide so much. He said some annoying guy kept bothering our family, and stealth mode was how we dealt with him. I felt proud we had a secret skill that could outsmart bad guys. By the time I was 10, I heard the voice outside yell something about a bet and $20. I tugged Dad's sleeve and whispered, "Is the bad guy trying to steal our money?" Dad shushed me so hard I
Not our
flinched.
$20.
When I was 12, I broke the window rule, peeked through the blinds, and saw a completely normal guy in a polo shirt standing on the porch.
How do you know it's a completely normal guy? Everyone looks like a human. I mean, like, psychopaths also look like humans. Like, what are you talking about?
I saw a completely normal guy.
What does that mean? What, he didn't have like one tooth and like hair only on one side out to here? Like, what do you mean? I saw a developed human adult. Wow, we're safe.
And saw a completely normal guy in a polo shirt standing on the porch rubbing his forehead. He didn't look like a criminal. He looked like someone's tired uncle. At 13, I told Dad I was just going to open the door and tell the guy to leave us alone. The color left his face. You absolutely cannot
That's
do
the
that.
no-no,
That was
man.
the first time stealth mode didn't feel like a game. By 15 or 16, it barely happened anymore. But when it did, Dad would peek through the blinds looking guilty. Mom just shook her head from the couch and muttered something under her breath. I was
Stupid
17
idiot.
and home alone when I heard it. "I know you're in there. It's been 12 years, man." I opened the front door. The guy
It's his
nearly fell
dad.
backwards. Normal-looking dude, middle-aged, holding a crumpled piece of paper. "Oh, hi. Is your dad home? I'm his old college roommate." He held up the paper. "Your old man bet me $20 Michael Jordan wouldn't win his 6th ring. That was 1998. I've been knocking on this door ever since." He handed me the IOU, both their signatures, right there at the bottom. I left it on the kitchen table. Mom saw it first and laughed so hard she had to hold the counter.
Okay, I believe that real animators are involved in this show because AI wouldn't do ridiculous expressions expressions like this. If you want to call it animation, you can, but it's basically Gary's mod. This is basically Gmod animations that we're looking at.
I left it on the kitchen table. Mom saw it first and laughed so hard she had to hold the counter. Dad picked it up, read it, put it back down, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "So now he knows someone's home." Then he turned off the kitchen light and got under the table. We were never in danger. My dad just lost a bet because of the greatest of all time.
And this is how you farm comments. This is how you farm comments. You talk about Michael Jordan and the greatest of all time, and then you have a LeBron James picture.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
That is how you farm comments. Talks about Michael Jordan, shows a picture of LeBron. Yeah. That's not Captain Hopkins. It's Captain Blobkins.
The flight attendant slipped me a napkin that said, "The pilot isn't who he says he is. Meet me in the back to talk." I knew she chose to
You were
tell
talking
me
to the
because of the
pilot?
military dog tags around my neck. I folded the
Ooh.
napkin and slid it into my pocket. And that's when the captain's voice came over the intercom. "Good morning, folks.
Good
This is
morning,
Captain
I am the
Hopkins,
captain."
Expecting smooth skies to Chicago, but something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones. I waited 2 minutes and casually walked to the back, not knowing what to expect. The flight attendant was there with a man holding up a police badge. The man whispered, "I'm glad you're here. I'm an undercover cop." I knew something was wrong straight away. The flight attendant whispered, "I've flown with Captain Hopkins for 6 years.
Oh my
I don't exactly know what's wrong."
Uncanny Valley. Like, don't even show the mouth moving if it's going to look like that. Don't even show it.
I've flown with Captain Hopkins for 6 years.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
We're all gonna have nightmares tonight because of what we just saw, so you didn't need to do that.
I don't exactly know what's wrong, but I know that's not Hopkins, and we're flying the wrong way. She showed me the flight map.
Oh yeah,
of
we're
where we
flying
headed.
back.
The
Our plane
heading
is
toward
flying
an abandoned
backwards.
Airport. I leaned over the map. My body was pumping with adrenaline because it was the perfect place to crash a plane. There's an empty space above the pilot's room. I can climb up and listen
The
to what the
perfect
pilot and
place
co-pilot
to
are. The perfect place to crash a plane.
Says who? I don't even want to say this sentence out loud. Is there a perfect place to do that?
There's an empty space above the pilot's room. I can climb up and listen to what the pilot and co-pilot are planning through the ceiling.
Co-pilot
Take my
are
number.
planning.
If you can tell there's something fishy going on, text me one word, now. That's the
Something
signal to move.
fishy.
And to distract everyone while I climbed above the ceiling, the flight attendant made an announcement on the speakers to tell everyone to keep their seatbelts on. Through the cracks, I could hear 2 men in the pilot's room talking. 15 years ago today, our brother died because of Captain Hopkins. Now we get to crash his plane with him.
The classic villain thing where you just say your exact backstory. Like, these two pilots have been together for hours now. They just suddenly, when the person's listening,
Oh, by the way, this is what happened. This is the tragic backstory, and this is our motivation for this thing that we are about to do.
Our brother died because of Captain Hopkins. Now we get to crash his plane with him tied up on it while we impersonate him. I texted the
the reason why these channels, like Darman as well, do so well is because you can have 3 brain cells and understand what's going on. Like, it is explaining everything as clearly as humanly possible. And yeah, even if you have 3 brain cells, you know exactly what's going on. And that's why this channel and Darman does so well.
While we impersonate him, I texted the undercover cop. Now, the cart slammed into the pilot's room door, and the cop kicked it open. I dropped through the ceiling and tackled the fake pilot out of his seat. The cop pinned the co-pilot to the floor. The flight attendant grabbed the radio. "Mayday, our pilot is gone. We need help landing right now." She looked at me. "Find Hopkins, the actual pilot. He has to be on this plane somewhere." I sprinted to the back of the
Stop
plane,
showing
checking
us
every door.
the
I
talking.
yanked open the closet next to the bathrooms, and Captain Hopkins was inside with his hands tied and
Yay.
tape across his mouth. I ripped the tape off. "Get me to the controls." He ran to the front and dropped into
Save
the
us,
pilot's
Captain
chair. He grabbed the
Hopkins!
wheel. "Tower, this is the real Captain Hopkins. I'm landing this plane."
This is the real Captain Hopkins. The last one was Admiral Bull Blopkins. I'm the real Captain Hopkins. How would you know? How would you know?
Want a Sprite cranberry?
Yes!
When we finally landed, the cops dragged the brothers off in handcuffs. The flight attendant came up to me in the aisle. I pulled the napkin out of my pocket and held it up. "You saved 200 lives with this." She smiled and took it back.
That's inspiring. I'm inspired. I'm so inspired that I want to sing. I can show you the world. We can watch some his story. That was crazy. And Captain Hopkins, how did he survive? I can show you the world. We can watch some his story. this looks crazy, and so does that, and I am not surprised why people subscribe. His story. You can have 3 brain cells and enjoy. These vids are so stupid. They're for little kids and people with 3 brain cells. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I wet the bed at a sleepover. Oh no, everyone's worst nightmare.
I woke up at a sleepover and realized I had 2 hours to save my entire reputation before anyone else woke up. I reached down and touched the fabric and realized I had wet the bed. I lay there completely still, listening to 4 other guys breathing around me in the dark. It was 5 a.m. If anyone
Was
woke
that the dad on the couch? Is this the dad on the couch just sleeping in the same room with the boys? I'm not vibing with that. I'm not vibing with that at all.
It was 5 a.m. If anyone woke up before I fixed this, I would have to switch schools. My backpack was next to the couch. I got to it on my hands and knees, moving so slow my arms started shaking, and unzipped it 1 inch at a time. I pulled
my
out my backup
anti-pee-pee
pajamas,
blanket.
and then Brandon sat straight up, not rolled over.
Oh no, that's a kid.
Sat up.
All right.
I froze with the backpack pressed to my chest. He swung his legs off the couch, stood up, and walked right past me. His foot landed maybe 4 inches from my hand. I didn't breathe. He kept walking,
Terrifying.
opened the bathroom door, and I heard him pee for what felt like a year. I finally heard his footsteps coming back. I stared at the carpet and prayed he wouldn't look down.
Say it to his pee. Say that was his pee. He just peed and he's half asleep, so you can convince him that the pee in your sleeping bag is his, okay? That's what you do.
He flopped back onto the couch, and within 30 seconds he was snoring again. I sat there shaking for a full minute before I could move. I tiptoed to the bathroom, changed into my backup pajamas, and stuffed the wet clothes into a plastic grocery bag from under the sink. Back in the living room, I grabbed the sleeping bag from the bottom and started dragging it toward the hallway. It made a soft shushing sound across the carpet, and I stopped every 2 seconds, certain someone had heard. Halfway across the room, Josh's phone lit up right next to his head, making his whole face blue. I froze again. He muttered something, rolled over, and the screen went dark. I waited a full minute before I moved another inch. I got the sleeping bag into the laundry room, stuffed it into the machine with the grocery bag of wet clothes, and turned the dial as slow as I could. The click.
Honestly, your best bet, honestly, is just gaslighting everyone. I never had a sleeping bag. That's what you do. You hide your sleeping bag behind the house, and when everyone wakes up, they say, "Where's your sleeping bag?" What are you talking about? I didn't bring one. That's what you do! Listen, I don't believe in lying, but when the situation is people believing you peed your sleeping bag or not, just cap. Just cap. Doing a load of laundry on a brand new washer and dryer in the middle of the night that you've never used, you may as well ask me to speedrun Dark Souls. You may as well ask me to steal the Declaration of Independence. Equal skill levels.
And turned the dial as slow as I could. The click sounded like a door slamming. I turned it 1 more notch and the machine started filling with water, and I exhaled for what felt like the first time in an hour. Then the hallway light came on. Josh's mom was standing at the other end of the hall in a robe, arms crossed, looking right at me. I opened my mouth. I spilled milk on my sleeping bag and didn't want it to sit overnight and smell. She didn't say anything for a long second. She just looked at me. Then she walked past me into the laundry room.
I know what milk smells like.
The machine, pulled down a bottle of detergent I hadn't seen, and set it.
Yeah, this is the anti-pee detergent, by the way.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
Opened the cabinet above the machine, pulled down a bottle of detergent I hadn't seen, and set it on top of the dryer. Use this one, she said. It works better on accidents. Then she pointed at a closet behind me and said there was an extra blanket in there, turned off the light, and went back to her room. I poured the detergent in.
The twist?
I got the blanket, went back to the living room, and laid down. Brandon was on his back snoring. Josh hadn't moved. Only one person knew, and she wasn't going to say a word.
What's with that evil smile?
Only one person knew what happened that night.
Acting like someone got
only one
murked.
Person knew, and she wasn't going to say a word.
No, stop looking at the kids like that, bro. Stop. This is so strange. Yeah, but no, for real though.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
Guys, if you're ever in that situation, just cap. I'm sure it's not that easy. I am sure you'd have to be really convincing. Maybe I am trying to use cartoon logic here, but to me, I feel like that's the play, you know? one more flip.
I flipped the water bottle and watched it land, and the whole class went berserk.
Yes!
Our teacher had said if I got it 10 times in a row, there'd be no homework for midterm, and I only needed one more flip. Everyone gathered round.
Oh my
and I
gosh,
took a
you
deep
did
breath,
9 in a
swinging it
row?
precisely. It came off my hand perfectly and started rotating through the air as planned.
This doesn't look
I
good. This doesn't
smiled
look
because
good.
I was about to go down as class legend. But then I saw a hand fly through the air, and right as my bottle was about to land, the hand slapped it off course. The bottle flew into the wall and
Lies.
fell. I looked over to see who hit it and saw the teacher grinning ear to ear. Nobody cheats my class. We started protesting, but he shouted to sit down.
Sociopath. How to make your entire class hate you. That's what you should be teaching. The class you should be teaching is how to make your class hate you, because you're really good at that. There are few things you could have done to more quickly make everyone in your class hate you. So good job, teacher. That's what you should be teaching.
Protesting, but he shouted to sit down, and whoever doesn't sit in the next 5 seconds will get double the homework. He then went handing out the 5,000-word essay due in 7 days with a smile.
5,000?
Format your references as I asked, or you fail automatically. He sat at his desk and started flipping his own bottle to mock us. But that's when a kid from the back started.
And oh my God, he hit it every time. He did it 20 times in a row.
That's when a kid from the back started laughing. The teacher leaned forward. "What are you laughing at?" But the kid just kept laughing and pointing behind him. The teacher started storming over, red in the face. "What are you laughing at?" But then suddenly he stopped, and his face changed color. The bottle I'd flipped was standing. Turns out when he'd hit it, it bounced off the wall straight on and fell down landing perfectly upright. I'd officially flipped it 10 times in a row, and he had no choice but to take the essays off our desk.
He had
His
no
jaw was
choice.
clenched the whole time.
He had no choice. What? He goes from swatting it away, completely destroying the sanctity of this contest. But when he sees that it's standing up, he's like, oh, okay, I have no choice but to bow down to the sacred gods of the bottle flip. Suddenly, his entire ethos on this bottle flipping situation gets flipped. I guess I have to abide by these terms. Unbelievable. The sacred text prophesized this.
Who here watches anime?
Yeah, I used to. I don't really watch it that much these days.
My teacher stormed into class and yelled, "Who here watches anime?" 10 of us raised our hands, and she pointed to the door, telling us to go outside.
Yeah,
She led us
leave.
through the hallways in silence to the principal's office, where a police officer was waiting with a notepad. We sat down, and the teacher stood at the front with her arms crossed. "Who has seen Dragon Ball Z?" 9 hands went up, and she pointed at the kid with his hand down. Back to class. She walked over to the principal's computer and pulled up an image. 5 characters from Naruto. Name them right now. 2 kids.
Teacher just gatekeeping Naruto fandom with the principal. Like, oh yeah, you like anime? Name 5 Narutos. I bet you can.
5 characters from Naruto. Name them right now. 2 kids just stared at the screen, and she pointed them to the door. Then she held up a quote and handed out blank slips, angrily telling us to write down what anime it was from. I wrote one piece, but 2 kids handed theirs back empty and left. Me and my friend John were among the 5 left. John was shaking, and I didn't know why, but I saw the police officer note it. The teacher slammed a blank paper in front of everyone with instructions on the board. Finally, draw a face in manga style. 3 of the kids' pencils never moved. The teacher looked at me and John. "You 2 draw manga, yes?" We nodded and she said, "Good. Go grab your manga art and bring it back here. The rest of you are free to go." We walked out, and I kept wondering what this was about. We came back with our sketchbooks, but this time the teacher's
All right, I'm strapped in. I'm like, where the heck is this going? Where on God's green earth is this story going? I have no idea. Did someone end someone's life and then draw an anime face next to them in blood? Is that what happened? How are they? At the scene of the crime, did they find a Naruto drawing?
But this time, the teacher's daughter was here too, and she was crying. She was John's crush in our class, but she hadn't raised her hand earlier. So what was she doing here? Just as I was about to ask,
It was
the teacher
him.
took our drawings.
He watches
she handed both
Naruto.
sketchbooks to her daughter, who started flipping through. She stopped on one of John's pages and pointed at it. "That's the one." She wiped her tears and walked out. The officer stood and walked.
Oh, he was writing in his diary, the teacher's daughter's a stinky, stupid idiot. And they found the page ripped out and on the floor, and there was a Naruto drawing on the other side, so they're arresting him.
The officer stood and walked to John, grabbing his hands and cuffing them behind his back. "You have the right to remain silent." John had a guilty
Unless it's a
expression
Naruto
as they led him
quote.
out the door. I stood there confused and shocked. What just just happened? The teacher started crying, and the principal spoke for her. Remember Secret Santa last week? He asked me. Someone gave her daughter a hand-drawn manga, multiple pages. The teacher spoke through tears.
Okay.
That manga was content.
Oh my gosh!
With characters from Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and One Piece.
First of all, ew, disgusting. Second of all, I'm glad I had no idea where that was going. Gross. Animation and cartoons and anime are cool, but you need to know when to not be a psychopath. That's my tip on that subject matter. Well, there's no way I'm ending on that one. We're doing Beyblade Let It Rip. Oh, the Beyblade's about to let rip this guy's face, I feel, which actually happened at my school when I was a kid. And the principal had a announcement the next morning.
Guys, I am making an announcement. Beyblades are officially banned.
I was like, it's called Beyblades! Ugh! I guess I gotta watch it.
Brennan slammed his Beyblade down onto the girl with Down syndrome's tray and shredded her sandwich into pieces. She sat there stunned, tears welling up in her eyes. I turned to him furious. You think it's okay to do that to her? Brennan smirked. Yeah, she's a window licker. He turned and walked off without looking back. Something inside me snapped. I stood up on the bench, pointed across the cafeteria, and screamed, I challenge you to a Beyblade duel. The whole cafeteria gasped and turned to look. Brennan stopped mid-step. He slowly turned around with this evil grin.
You have just made the biggest mistake of your life. I am the original Black Dronzer in human form. The legendary dragon bit beast has come to life and inhabited my body. I am him, he is me, and this is his story.
Man, that was sick. Sorry, guys.
Evil grin spreading across his face. You're on. Me and my boys versus you. Loser licks the bird poop off the table.
What? You can't just have two homies join in. That's not how that works. You challenge someone to a fight. Hey, how dare you do that? I'll take you on and defend my honor. Oh, okay, sounds good. Haha. Yeah. So you versus me and two other people, right? That's what you can't do that. See, this is why he's the Black Dronzer and not the blue dragoon or whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called.
Loser licks the bird poop off the table by the playground. By the time we got to the picnic table, the entire playground had circled around it 3 kids deep. Cohen pulled out a Beyblade with flames on it. Tate had a dragon. Brennan was twirling a black one with red spikes between his fingers. I unzipped my backpack and pulled out the one my older brother gave me for my birthday. Solid metal, no paint, no stickers. He told me, this is Ragnarok. Don't use it unless you really need to. Brennan took one look and cackled. What is that?
This was made with obsidian. This was made with bedrock. Just so you know.
What is that? A paperweight? We loaded our launchers and Brennan counted us down. 3, 2, 1. Beyblade let it ripe. 4 Beyblades
let it ripe.
Oh,
wow. Not beating the AI voice allegations on that one, okay?
Beyblade let it ripe. 4 Beyblades hit the dirt and sparks shot up wherever Ragnarok made contact. Crack. Ragnarok drilled into Cohen's and it shattered into 4 pieces. Cohen dropped to his knees sobbing. It was my birthday present. Ragnarok ricocheted off the wreckage.
Hey, don't get soft now.
Tate's dragon. The whole thing launched out of the ring straight at Tate's face and knocked 3 of his teeth clean out. He touched the gap and ran off crying. Brennan was the only one left. His Beyblade was wobbling backwards trying to escape. He dropped to his knees and shoved his bare hand into the ring to block Ragnarok.
He's about to lose that hand. He's about to lose that hand.
A shard of plastic slicing his palm open. He yanked his hand back screaming. The top half of his Beyblade flew up and landed dead center in the bird poop on the picnic table. Ragnarok kept spinning alone in the middle of the ring. The whole playground exploded.
Touch it. That thing's lethal.
Marley! Brennan stumbled toward Marley, clutching his hand. Cohen shuffling behind him, still sobbing. He stopped in front of her and stared at the ground. I'm sorry. Marley's face slowly broke into the biggest smile I'd ever seen. She raised her middle finger. I forgive you too. Then she pointed at the picnic table. Loser licks the table. Both of them dropped to their knees and licked while the entire playground watched.
Let me know if you want to see this again, I guess.